and then I'll give an introduction. So maybe whenever you're ready.
Okay, so thank you everybody for joining us. Welcome to this video conference on college admissions. My name is Mei Mary Shi. I am the International Education Coordinator and also the English language teacher of the affiliated high school of Zhongxin University in Taiwan. And we are very happy today to have 8 schools from 7 countries participating in this event, and Czech has successfully connected. We hopefully will have more countries connecting to us without technical difficulties. And I would like to thank our partners in this event, the World Class Schools and ESC Region 13 in Texas, the World Affairs Council and AIU 3 in Pittsburgh, and Magpie in Philadelphia. And now I'll turn things over to the World Affairs Council. Amina?
Thank you. My name is Amina Masoub. I'm the Director of Education Programs at the World Affairs Council, Pittsburgh, and I'm joined by...
I'm Tim Devlin. I'm here at the Allegheny Intermediate Unit. We're a service agency for local schools.
So we're really excited to be having this conversation among students around the world. We often have discussions about how students internationally are both competing and collaborating. So I think this is a good example of how both of those things can happen as part of the college admissions process. Before I hand things over to our speakers from Ohio State and the University of Pittsburgh, I'd like to give you an overview of today's event. And I also want to remind you that today's event will be recorded and archived at video.magpie.net. So first we'll hear from the speakers about their universities and the college admissions process. And after they're done, you'll have the opportunity to introduce your schools and ask the speakers questions directly during a round robin. So Mike Cunningham will facilitate the Q&A. So if you have something that he needs to know, please alert him through the chat function on Zoom. At the end of the program, our friends at Ohio State and Pitt will sign off, leaving the students with about 30 to 40 minutes to talk about the college admissions process in their countries, how it impacts them as high school students, and their feelings about the process. We'll have a chance at this point to hear from students in Taiwan and hopefully Czech Republic about the process in their country, and Mike will also moderate that part of the discussion. I'm now happy to introduce our speakers. Representing the University of Pittsburgh, Lauren Panetti is the Senior Assistant Director of International Admissions. If you can give us a little wave.
Hi.
Yeah, great. And Sarah Bolin is Admissions Counselor, is also representing Pitt. At Ohio State University, Marco Chavez is the Senior Assistant Director of International Recruitment. And since we're here in Pittsburgh, and have the hometown advantage, Marco, if you can start us off.
Great, thank you very much. Before I begin talking about Ohio State, I'd like to emphasize that education in the United States is very decentralized as opposed to other countries in the world. So if you're thinking about applying to the University of Pittsburgh, or about applying to Ohio State, or about applying to University of California, Los Angeles, the process for each of us is going to be different. So don't hesitate to use us in the admissions offices as your resources, and also other community partners outside like Ms. Amina. Having said that, Ohio State University is located in what is considered the Midwest part of the United States, which is around the Great Lakes region. We're located in the city of Columbus in the state of Ohio. Columbus has close to 2 million people, and it's a perfect city for students in a university. And the reason for that is because the city of Columbus is large enough to have activities that you'll be interested in doing, but small enough that you won't feel lost. Examples are we have our professional hockey team, professional soccer team, minor league baseball. We have concerts, festivals year-round. And a good part about being an Ohio State student is that as a student, you get discounted tickets to all of these events. So we want you to enjoy the city and not just the university. Another benefit is that we are the state capital. So students interested in government policy have an extra advantage here at the university because the state legislature is right downtown, about 3 kilometers away from our campus. So you can get involved close to home. We're home to many large corporations, international corporations. For example, Honda Motor Company, their North American headquarters is right here in Central Ohio. And other companies also. So for students interested in business, you have the ability to do your co-ops or internships right here in Central Ohio without having to go to another large city. Now, the university itself is within the city of Columbus, but it's considered an urban campus, but at the same time, it's got very defined boundaries. It is one of the largest campuses in the U.S. We have over 50,000 students. This year, we have about 57,000 students from over 100 countries. So very large, but what our size means is that these are opportunities for you to get involved in academics and outside of the classroom as well. So when students ask me, what types of programs do you offer? What majors do you offer? I always tell them it's easier to state what we don't have than it is to go through the list of everything we have. To give you an idea of what we have, you can't read this, but it's a long list of majors. So to give you an idea, we don't have programs related to ocean studies, oceanography, because we're not located on the coast, and we don't have programs related to petroleum or natural gas exploration. Anything else that you would want to study, you can pretty much find it here at Ohio State University. Another benefit of this university and our size is that everything is concentrated here on this one campus. So we have a medical center right here on our campus. We have a veterinary school right here on our campus, law school. And also people ask me, well, what are you known for? You have all of these majors, but what really are you known for? We're known for a lot. Again, we're known for medicine. We're known for biological and physical sciences, for languages. We actually teach the most languages out of any university in the United States. So you can study anything from Arabic to Uzbek and Swahili, anything in between. You can study it here at Ohio State. We're also known for business, agriculture programs, engineering programs. If any of you are interested in automotive research, we actually have a Center for Automotive Research. Now, another benefit of being at Ohio State is that all students from your first year through your final year can participate in a lot of extracurricular activities, such as research. So from day one, you can join a research team, join a professor, and start doing research. So for example, I mentioned the Center for Automotive Research. From day one, you can go there and begin doing research on automobiles, on cars. And we actually have an office called the Office of Undergraduate Research that helps you get connected to different research projects going on around the country. Now, research is the study of different things. It's advancing knowledge. So you'll have that opportunity. Also, every student from day one can participate in study abroad opportunities. I know you'll be studying abroad in the US, but if you're interested in also exploring other countries, you can do that. And our programs last from as little as 1 week to as long as a full year. So that's another opportunity for you. And students in all majors can also participate in co-ops or internships. So you can get real hands-on experience working for a company, for an institute, for a government agency. We want all of our students to be prepared and well-rounded. The campus itself offers a lot of opportunities for our students. We have over 1,000 student organizations, and these organizations vary from fun organizations such as the Skydiving Club. We do have our own airport a couple of kilometers away, so students form the Skydiving Club, to ethnic organizations such as the Chinese Student Association or Korean Student Association, to more service-oriented organizations that do community service outreach around the Columbus area. So that's a little bit about the university. In terms of the application, it's actually pretty straightforward. Every student from anywhere in the world that's coming directly out of high school would need to complete an application form and submit along with that teacher recommendations and then your high school transcripts, so your results from your schools. And then we also do require SAT or ACT exam results, so you would need to send that to us. And that's pretty much the academic requirements. Pretty straightforward. We'll make a decision on your application based on those requirements. I'll pass it on to my colleague, Lauren.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marco.
Okay, thank you, Marco. So like Ohio State, the University of Pittsburgh has a lot of similarities. And one thing I want to go over is when you're deciding on what college or university to go to, a couple of big factors to decide on. Do you want a big school, a medium-sized school, or a small school? Also, what type of setting do you want to be in? Do you want to be in a city, a more suburban area, or something very rural? And also with size and location, looking at the different resources that the university does offer. So the University of Pittsburgh, we were founded in 1787. We are located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a state on the east coast of the United States, and then Pittsburgh is a city that is on the western side of the state. So we are exactly opposite from Philadelphia, if you are familiar with that city in Pennsylvania. We have almost 18.
Hey, Lauren, I hate to interrupt you, Lauren. If you could put your headphones back on for your presentation part, that actually, the sound coming from there was a lot better through that mic. And then whenever we go to the Q&A, we'll you can take it off and just use your laptop, because I think so Sarah can hear it too. But I think the sound was better. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. Can you all hear me better now? Okay, great. So continuing on, the University of Pittsburgh, again, founded in 1787, located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We have a little over 18,000 undergraduate students, so we're considered a medium-sized school. We think that we're not too big, but not too small, so just kind of the perfect size for students. We have 108 majors, so we do have a lot to offer. Of course, I'm not going to go into all of them, but just highlight a couple of popular ones, specifically our schools that the majors are divided into. So we have a School of Arts and Sciences, which has a lot of our kind of liberal studies. It has social sciences, humanities, natural sciences. Some of the popular majors are neuroscience, psychology, history, political science, English, film studies, theater arts. Those are just a couple, to name a few. We also have preparations for pre-professional programs. We have a School of Dental Medicine. We have a School of Medicine here. We also have some upper level programs in the rehabilitation sciences. So you can get your prep work for those programs. In the United States, some of these programs work a little bit differently than what you might be used to in your home country. You don't enter directly into these programs. You have to have a 4-year bachelor's degree first and get the prerequisites required for these programs. We also have a College of Business Administration, a Swanson School of Engineering, and those two are very popular as well. And then we also do have a School of Nursing. So those are some very popular majors here at Pitt. We have also lots of resources here on campus. We have a fantastic study abroad office and definitely encourage students to study abroad. We have our own Pitt developed programs in over 70 areas of the world, where it is Pitt courses, Pitt professors, Pitt students, just barring another university's resources in another campus setting somewhere around the world. We have a fantastic career services. It's called Career Development and Placement Assistance. I like to highlight that because we actually guarantee students an internship at least one time during their 4-year career. And that's so important for students being able to get jobs after graduation. And I'm sure that's why you all want to go to college, to get all the preparation needed for jobs after graduation. We also have a counseling center. We have over 450 different student organizations. And if there's something that you don't see, you're welcome to start your own organization as well. In addition, we have a student health services as well as a student pharmacy. So we have many, many resources for students. Also, we, of course, have academic resources going on. So we have a writing center, and this is for any class at Pitt. You can have them help you proofread your paper, help you get ideas started for a research paper. We also then have a math assistance center, which we call the MAC, and that can be from a college algebra all the way up to an engineering student taking calculus 3. We also have the ARC, the Academic Resource Center, which is for students taking some of your general education requirements that you may have in your major, and that's, again, all free of charge for students. So, of course, I do want to talk a little bit more about campus. Our campus is 110 acres. It does have a very, very urban feel to it. We are located about 3 miles from downtown Pittsburgh. It's very easy to get around the city, though. We have buses that go all around the city that students ride fare-free with your student ID. So it's very, very easy to get around. The buses actually also take you out to the airport. The Pittsburgh International Airport is probably about 45 minutes from campus, so students can easily get out there for free with your student ID if you need to fly back home or go anywhere for any of the holidays. So going downtown, there's lots to do. Students love to go downtown for sporting events, cultural events, shopping. And then Pittsburgh is made up of many different neighborhoods, a lot of different ethnic neighborhoods. So there's lots of shopping and cultural things going on. Pittsburgh has actually been ranked one of the most livable cities in the country. It's very friendly here. People are always willing to say hello. We have 9 colleges in the area, so there's a lot of young college students. It's clean, it's safe, crime is very low, and it's very affordable and easy to get around. Now, on our campus, which is very centralized in one area, from one side of campus all the way to the other, you can go within about less than 10 minutes. We have 16 libraries. Our main one is called Hillman Library. We have 7 computer labs. Our campus is 100% wireless. We also have 7 different athletic complexes, our main one being the Peterson Event Center. We are Division I sports, which is the highest level of collegiate sports, and we do have many different men and women's varsity sports that students could try to be recruited for if you're interested in that, or be a spectator and be a cheerleader for those different fun sporting events. We have 15 residence halls on campus. And I do want to let you know, students are guaranteed 3 years of on-campus housing. So we do have plenty of living options for you to live right here on campus. We have 5 or 6 different dining halls, so many different options for you for that. And then, of course, our classrooms and labs for all of our different sciences and things are spread all throughout campus. So now I want to briefly go into the application and admissions process. We do have an online international student application, which requires a $45 application fee. We require, of course, your official high school transcripts, as well as 2 different types of standardized tests, either the SAT or ACT, and we do not require SAT 2 subject tests. And then we do require an English language proficiency exam, and we accept either the TOEFL or the IELTS. We also require a 1 to 2 page essay. There are no prompts. You can write about whatever you would like. And then once we have that, we are rolling admissions. So what that means is as our spots get filled, they become more and more competitive. We send out admissions decisions on a daily basis. So when you apply, you actually can hear very early on. Our turnaround time is usually within 3 to 6 weeks. So that is all from me about University of Pittsburgh. Hello?
Lauren, we can hear each other and we can hear the Czech Republic, but we cannot hear them because they're on mute somehow. So I don't know how in the world they got on mute.
Okay.
But at this point, while we're waiting on them, are there any questions from the Czech Republic for Pittsburgh, the University of Pittsburgh?
I have one simple question. It might could be mentioned and I didn't understand, but I rather ask. Is there any possibility of international exchange? Like, for example, me going to Pittsburgh? It is asking.
Sure, yeah, good question. So the question was about exchange programs. We probably have about 20 different universities abroad that we have exchange programs with, where one student from that university would come to Pittsburgh and then one student from Pittsburgh would go there. So it's a direct exchange. And that would be anywhere from 1 to 2 semesters, so either a half a year or a full year. Also, though, if you are enrolled in a specific university in your home country or somewhere else, you could be a guest student for us from anywhere from 1 to 2 semesters, and you would apply through our study abroad office in order to be a guest student. The only thing with that is you have to make sure that it's okay with your home institution and that they allow you to come here for the particular semester and that the credits will transfer. And then you do have to return to your home institution after that semester or year.
Thank you. That was a great answer. And my teacher has also a question. If you have special contract with some university in Czech Republic.
Yeah, so the question was, do we have any special agreements with any Czech Republic universities? We do not currently, so it wouldn't be a direct one-on-one exchange. But again, if you were enrolled in any of your higher education institutions, you could apply as a guest student.
Yeah, and one more question, I guess. Okay, that was my mistake.
Okay, thank you.
Lauren, I sent their email addresses to you so you can maybe keep in contact. And I've contacted the people in Pittsburgh to tell them that we could not hear anybody and they're on mute.
Okay, thank you.
Now, is the University of Pittsburgh municipal, private, or state?
We are public and state related, so we are in between not being a state school, but getting some funding from the state.
Hey, so maybe you can hear me through Zoom.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, but it's echoing.
It's echoing because I have some people, I'll shut them off.
Okay, so we'll just use the Zoom audio because we were unmuted on our machine, but you couldn't hear us. So yeah, so before we kind of open it up to a few more questions, I think we wanted the schools to kind of give an overview of themselves. So if the school in the Czech Republic, if you could just tell us a little bit about your school, if it's a kind of public or private school, what year you're in, and then we'll move to Taiwan to do the same, and then Taiwan can ask a question.
Tak, no, marketing naši škole to už říká stokrát, a my jsme si připravili prezentaci o tom, jak můžeme studovat, pokračovat ve studiu na škole.
So hi again, it's nice to hear from you. I will just quickly introduce our school. Our school is called Gymnasium Česká, and we all come from city České Budějovice in the south of Czech Republic. We are a high school, particularly normal public school and particularly sports school. We are not as big as your school that we mentioned, but we also have 2 labs and many free times activities, and again, to say a lot of sport options. We don't have our own campus, but there are many of them in the city. And but we also focus on academic study. So that's why we are participating on these video chats. And
Slyší? Bobby se nás slyší.
Can you hear us?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, well, so we have prepared for you some facts about the private and the state colleges in our country. I will firstly mention the difference between the state and the private college in our country. The first reason is the reasons which are the most important
For people.
Is firstly the tuition fee, secondly the quality of college, and thirdly how the college presents itself to the general public.
Teď jdeme na ten graf, jo, kočičko.
Now can you see the graph?
Pie grid.
The pie grid. This one is about
The opinions of the respondents.
The opinions of the respondents, if they would or wouldn't study at the private colleges.
Okay.
And more than half of respondents are not persuaded about the quality of the tuition in the Czech Republic, which is, I think, different from the United States, isn't it?
Máme dotaz, Miláčkové, budeme se chtít dokovat, jestli tam lidi preferují soukromý školy nebo ne. Co je zbývá? Teď tady máme ten kontakt. Tak. Slyší nás? Takže životy se shall I go on?
Shall I go on?
Okay.
More than 1/4 of the respondents are not able to cover the admission fee. Then 15% of respondents think that the private colleges are not as prestigious as the state colleges.
Řekni, to je divný, co?
To je to divný. It's strange for you. It's strange for you, isn't it?
Klive nebo neklive? Tak pokračuj, no.
And the last respondent thinks that studying at colleges is not necessary for being successful
In the
future.
Pokračujeme.
The next question is focused again on studying or not studying at private colleges, and the people are not afraid of studying at private colleges, and so more than 1/2 of the respondents wouldn't mind to study there. The third question was, do you think that teaching elite will prefer teaching at private colleges?
Elite.
Will prefer teaching at private colleges to state colleges because private colleges give them better pay. So half respondents assume that they prefer their research and the prestige, which is more supported at the state colleges. Then the more than 35% of respondents guess that the teaching elite is underpaid
at state schools,
at state colleges, and some respondents think that the experts at the state colleges are well paid.
A řekni, ale je to pouze 12%.
But it's only 12%.
Okay. Promiň, Iro, ty tu máš anglinu, já tě pustím do IVTčka, jo? Tak.
So now I will be talking about the tuition fee. So in our country, the only colleges which are paid are the private ones. Nevertheless, the previous government had been considering starting the tuition fees at private colleges, at state colleges, but the current government has refused this draft. And students at our colleges are also able to apply for scholarships. So they have to meet at least one of the requirements, such as excellent results or excellent scientific or creative activities. And if there are students who are in difficult social situations, they are able to apply for the scholarship too. So now you will see a list of
our private colleges and
The admission,
the admission fees
Wait a minute. Mhm. I'm sorry, Michael. There is one problem because we are sharing our presentation. We have agreed about the payments, the admission fees for different colleges, and we also have it in dollars for your interest, right?
Yeah,
That Zoom allows only one presentation to be shared, yes, at the time. So
we could, if we could, hold that presentation because I really like to see that. And let's try to see if we can get back to Pittsburgh there because they want to try to see if you can ask some questions with the people from Taiwan too. They're supposed to be back on. So if we could hold that just a moment and then we'll try to get back to Pittsburgh, okay? Because that's very fascinating. I do not believe that people really understand some of the problems in schools are pretty universal all over, and that's what one of the parts of this was supposed to be about.
So you suggest that we now should break the presentation for a couple of, for another entry, or?
Yeah, just let me.
Sorry,
Yeah, okay, so then.
we're having some issues with our sound here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Turn the volume. So for this part, we were actually hoping to have the students ask questions of the admissions officers. So if you have questions for the admissions officers, let's ask those first, and then we can do the student discussion part. Because Lauren and Marco have jobs to go to, so we want to make sure they can do their job. So, and Mike, I think I'm using Zoom right now for audio, but you actually have us. We think you have us muted on your system because there's no other. We've already called around. There's no other explanation. So if you could just check on that,
you are not muted on my system.
Do this. So, okay. So yeah, so if you wouldn't mind, why don't we have, since we already had some schools from the students from the Czech Republic ask some questions, why don't we turn things over to the students in Taiwan? I know that you have a lot of questions to ask as well.
Go.
And just being more specific, the questions are specifically for Marco or Lauren at this point. And if you're done with questions with them, then we'll let them know they can move on with their days.
Okay. I mean, can you hear me? Pittsburgh? We can't see or hear anybody except the people here on Zoom.
Yeah.
We cannot find Mary at all.
Okay, I'll continue then. So, to your questions, no, if you are coming directly out of high school and you want to apply to a business or economics or government major or any major of any type, if you do, just saying that you have that interest is sufficient. So in the short, no, you do not need to have prior experience in that field. Did you want to tackle that question, Lauren?
I'm sorry, can you hear me? I'm not able to hear the questions from Taiwan.
Oh,
Can you hear us now?
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
So we repeat the question again.
Yes,
I would like to know
you.
if students who wish to apply for business-related courses or politics or governing is economic-related experiences requirement for students who wish to apply for these courses. Thank you.
Sure, yeah, I'm just going to repeat the question to make sure I got it. So students interested in applying for any sort of business majors or even economics, is some sort of experience required for the admissions process. So for the University of Pittsburgh, we're mostly looking at your academics. So when you are applying to our business program, we really look at your math classes. So we want to see math up through at least trigonometry. So some algebra 1 and 2, geometry, trigonometry, pre-calculus. Obviously, calculus will definitely help you out. Business statistics, any sort of statistics or business classes as well are great preparation courses. We also, of course, are looking at any sort of experience that you have as supplemental. So if you're a borderline candidate, that's where those things can really come into play. So I would encourage you to submit some sort of activities resume or just some sort of resume outlining the clubs you're in, if you have any jobs, volunteer work, any sort of experiences that you do have related to that. You could also address it in your essay. That would be a great thing to do as well.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions from Taiwan for
Yes.
Lauren or
We
Marco?
had another question.
Yes, we have another question. For Marco, I'm quite curious about, since there's a Madison Center in the campus, and I want to know that what do students require if they want to apply for Ohio State University? What kind of project or research do they have to do before going into college?
So you said that we have a what center? I couldn't quite hear that part of your question.
The Madison Center.
Medicine Center.
Okay, the medical school. So one thing to keep in mind is that medicine in the United States, it's graduate level. So that means that you need to do a 4-year bachelor's degree first before pursuing medicine. Another thing to keep in mind about medical school in the United States is that it's very limited to non-U.S. citizens or U.S. permanent residents. I don't know if Pitt's Medical Center restricts that, but at Ohio State, international students can't study medicine. But you can study medicine-related careers, such as pharmacy, pharmaceutical sciences, optometry, everything surrounding medicine. You just can't go into the medical school. But you asked if research is important. Yes, we are a research-intensive university, so that's definitely a plus if you want to continue after your bachelor's degree in the medical-related field.
Yeah, and just to bounce off of that, the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine, about 2 years ago, we just started accepting international students. So we do allow those students, and obviously research is a big part of our campus here. We really encourage undergraduate students to get involved, whether you're working in a lab with one of our professors or doing something out in the field. We have many opportunities for that.
Okay, thank you. I have a question that I don't think either of you have mentioned yet. What is the percentage of students on your campuses that are international students? And do you have any special programs to help international students become accustomed to living in the United States?
Yes, we have about 6,000 international students on our campus. I already mentioned from over 100 countries. We realize that moving in general is tough, but especially moving to a new culture is very difficult. So yes, we have an office dedicated to helping students transition to life in the United States. It's called the Office of International Affairs, and they do a lot of programming during a student's first semester. And even before coming to campus, we do a lot of programming to help you get acclimated to life in the United States, to life at a U.S. university, and also to deal with challenges that all students deal with, such as study habits, sleeping habits, helping you get together to meet new friends. So yes, a lot of support services, and I'm sure University of Pittsburgh has a lot of the same.
Yeah, thanks. For our undergraduate international students, we have between about 500 and 600. And then including graduate students, we have a little over 2,000. So for the undergrad, it's about 3% of our population. And Taiwan is in our top 10 of where we get students from. And we do have a fantastic Office of International Services, and they serve as your kind of first contact with doing all of your immigration work and your arrival here on campus and your orientation. We do have a new student orientation that starts in August if you come for the fall term, or in January for our spring term, and they do all kinds of fun events. And then we do have over 20 different student organizations related to different ethnic groups around campus. We also have the Center for Cross-Cultural and Leadership Development, CCLD we call it, and they have a student organization that has upperclassmen international students serve as ambassadors to kind of help our incoming international students and do all kinds of fun events around the different U.S. holidays and the beginning of school and get you out and involved in the city and things like that.
Great, thank you. Sounds great. So we have about 10 minutes left with Lauren and Marco. So students in the Czech Republic or in Taiwan, why don't you go ahead and ask any other questions you might have. Let's start with the students in Taiwan. Do you have any additional questions you'd like to ask? And then we'll move to the Czech Republic if you don't.
I have a question about like how both of the colleges guarantee internship. I'm wondering what are the terms that we need to fulfill in order to be guaranteed internship.
Sure, yeah. So for the University of Pittsburgh's guaranteed internship program, what you have to do in order to be guaranteed an internship, and this is for any student in any major, you have to complete an internship prep program. And this consists of meeting with a career advisor and having them look over your resume and cover letter. And of course, if you don't have one, they can help you start a resume and cover letter. They also do mock interviewing. Well, they will film you being interviewed in one of our interview suites on campus. And then you'll watch it back and they can critique it and show you positive things that you did and things you can work on. So you're ready for that type of interview. And they also have a series of workshops to help you brush up on your networking skills and different things like that. So as long as you do this workshop and meet with your career advisor, being in the city, we have lots of companies here. So there's many different options, and we are always working every day to form better and better relationships with different employers around the city so we can help connect our students with those opportunities.
I guess I'll tackle it. I'll tackle the question too, but we don't guarantee internships. Every one of our colleges or faculties has a career services office that helps you with all the skills that Lauren mentioned, but we don't guarantee an internship, unfortunately.
And as an organization that does take interns, the process can be really competitive depending on the time of the year. So just for example, we have a summer internship program. We have about 4 positions available for the summer. It is not paid, so it's an unpaid internship. And we might get 60 applicants for that. So, you know, I think the skills that Lauren mentioned are really important for all students to work on. So interview skills, good resumes, and being able to really connect with the organization or company you're interested in. So we have students who, as high school students, participated in World Affairs Council events. And then as university students, if they mention that, then we know that they're interested in our work. So just as an aside. So let's turn to, let's turn to our friends in the Czech Republic. We have a few more minutes left. Why don't you ask any final questions you might have for Lauren and Marco?
Yeah, one question. How much money do we have to pay for 1 year semester?
Tuition for 1 full year at Ohio State is about $25,000. So a semester is about $12,000. If you include housing, living expenses, health insurance, every other cost, it's about $45,000 a year here at Ohio State.
Yes.
We do offer an international undergraduate scholarship. It's valued at $4,000. All you need to do is get an SAT score above 1,300 on the math or critical reading, or an ACT score of 29, and you're automatically considered for that scholarship. Lauren?
Yes, thanks, Marco. Yes, our tuition is pretty comparable. So again, you're looking at about $28,000 in tuition for the full year. And then we do require international students to have health insurance. And then, of course, if you're planning on living on campus, so the total is going to be about $45,000, and that's including all types of living expenses for the full year.
Okay, so that's always the critical question, right? How much does it actually cost? So, so thank you. And I think there are some, certainly, some of the international students are eligible for scholarships within their own countries to study abroad or to study internationally. So that's something, to look into.
Ask if there's any other questions at Czech Republic.
Are there any other questions at the Czech Republic?
Yeah, we just looking for the prices. But is that affordable for average American or just people? Because it sounds like a huge price for us. I guess the average salary is $30,000. So.
Yeah, so $25,000 for tuition. It definitely, if I had to pay it from my own bank account, I could not do it. So it's not because you're in a different country that it sounds like it's a lot, but there are a lot of resources to help you pay for education. So most students actually come in with many scholarships from different types of sources. Ms. Amina mentioned government sources. We have alumni clubs all over the world. So these are people that have graduated from Ohio State that donate money for scholarships to help bring more students from their country. I know in Taiwan, we definitely have a alumni scholarship fund. So to answer your question, no, it's not just because you're in a different country that it sounds like a lot. It is a lot, but again, there are many resources to help you pay for that. Lauren?
Yeah, and one other thing I want to mention is international students. You would be on an F1 student visa, and that does allow you to work on campus. So there are plenty of on-campus jobs, I'm sure, at both of our universities, and you can work up to 20 hours a week. So sometimes that can help with some of those extra payments there. So I wanted to make sure to mention that.
Sorry, we missed that last part of your sentence, Lauren.
Oh, sure. I was just talking about making sure students knew that on your F1 student visa, you are eligible to work on campus for up to 20 hours a week. And we have many, many on-campus jobs available, and I'm sure the same is true for Ohio State as well.
Great, thank you. Do we have, I think we maybe have time for one last question. Do we have any questions from the students in Taiwan?
没有机会咯，就 pass。No, okay. Yeah, we have one final question.
Why is I want to ask both university. Why is the most thing you are proud of your university?
That's a very good question. What is the one thing we're most proud of here at Ohio State? I think it's a combination of all of the opportunities that we offer. We're very academically oriented, but we're also a very fun university with many opportunities. So I think when you ask students, faculty, staff here, what are you proud of? They would say opportunities and variety. Lauren?
Yeah, great question. I would say we're most proud of our students. The types of students that come to Pitt are really wanting to do a lot of extracurricular. So they really get involved both on and off campus. They take advantage of everything that the city has to offer. And they'll go downtown. We have a program called Pitt Arts, and it offers free or discounted tickets to our symphony, our ballet, all of our different Broadway shows. So they'll go out downtown on a Friday night, maybe to the Pittsburgh Ballet, and then the next morning they'll come and work with their professor and be in one of the hospitals doing research. We have 5 and 6 different hospitals all around campus, including a children's hospital. So their students really get involved and take advantage of all the different resources on and off campus.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So we're going to move on to kind of the more student-focused portion of this program. Lauren and Marco, if you don't have anything else on your schedule, you're welcome to kind of hang out and ask questions if you want. So we'll move on to that kind of student-focused part. So if you need to sign off, that's fine. You can just kind of power down and then we're good to go.
I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with all of you. Miss Amina has my contact information, so you're more than welcome to pass it on to the students if you have other questions that you'd like to ask later on. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Marco.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, and thank you guys.
So Lauren,
Yes. Thank you very much. It was nice meeting you. And again, we'll make sure to get your contact information to reach out to you.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you
so much.
And go Pitt.
Yes.
Great, thank you. In full disclosure, I did go to the University of Pittsburgh for my master's degree, and
I went to the University of Pittsburgh, and I also have a son that graduated from the University of Pittsburgh, and I have a daughter that's in the nursing school at the University of Pittsburgh right now. So I can address some of those questions with the Czech Republic with regard to how we finance this, because it is a huge stretch on every family. And I could talk about that a little later in the program.
Yeah, if you're interested. And just so you know, that question about affordability, about how much college costs, is a really big discussion happening in the United States right now. And so universities and high schools are actually trying to do more to make college more affordable for all students. And so that might not apply if you're an international student, because, just so you know, a lot of colleges and universities actually get taxpayer money to help pay for them, or they get money from the state or from the federal government. So that's a little bit of background. So I know that we heard the kind of first part of the presentation from the students in the Czech Republic. That was really interesting. So I know the students in Taiwan also had a presentation that they wanted to share. And then I wanted to give the students in both countries the chance to ask each other questions too. So maybe would now be a good time for that presentation?
Okay, so we will begin our presentation on high school requirements and then talk a little bit about college admission and the application process in Taiwan.
Would you be able to see our slides?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure, just go ahead and push that content.
So,
high high school student in Taiwan have to go to school for 220 days per year.
The core courses in high school are Chinese, math, English, science, and social studies.
High school in Taiwan is from 10th to 12th grade. 12th graders often have more study periods, and teachers help them review, since they are in the final stage of preparing for university entrance exams.
As for students in 10th and 11th grades, we mostly listen to lectures in each course.
However, some courses access to give presentation. For example, we have a drama class for English conversation class.
The amount of our homework assignments varies from subject to subject. Take Chinese assignment, for example. Besides the exercises related to the test, we have to read an extra article and make a comment about it once a week.
As for English assignments, we have to do vocabulary and grammar exercises to review what we have learned in class.
Some teachers give grade according to assignment scores, so may be deducted by teacher if we don't hand in our homework on time.
Generally, we will have a test after finishing one chapter. In fact, many tests was arranged every day.
And we often have more than one test each day because teachers in Taiwan believe that it can help students develop the habits of studying.
There are also teaching assistants who help teachers to arrange tests, as well as collect homework and record students' grades.
Teachers of some subjects, such as English, require that students make corrections on their English mistake and ask those who fail their test to take makeup exam.
That's all for the part of high school requirements, and we'll now continue to talk about college application in Taiwan.
Generally speaking, there are two college entrance in Taiwan, which are GSAT, General Scholastic Ability Test, and Joint College Entrance Examination. GSAT is always held in late January or early February. To apply for the college, students have to submit their GSAT results and prepare a portfolio. And students also need to attend college interview.
However, if students weren't able to apply for college at this stage, they still had a second chance, which was the Joint College Entrance Examination, which is held on July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And students will be accepted to their school in accordance with their exam results. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. That sounds really difficult. So good luck to you as you're preparing for that. Do the students in the Czech Republic have any questions for the students in Taiwan? Or do the students in Taiwan have questions for the students in Czech Republic?
I have one question. I have been to China and I want to know if there are also tests at the weekends, because in China there were no tests during the week and there were only tests at the weekend. For example, by us is that we study and write tests during the weekend and then we have a weekend free. So is that the same in Taiwan?
Actually, we don't have that. It will be too cruel for students if we have to get tests on weekends. But we got assignments to do from various subjects. Yes.
Mary, does Taiwan have a lot of after-school cram schools like Korea?
Yes, a lot. Actually, we got a street or a building full of cram schools. So so most students after school, they will just rush to the building or that street for after school studies.
And we got all the subjects for students to choose from.
So you would go 220 days to a regular school, and how many days would you go a year to the cram school?
It actually depends on students. Some of them roughly 220, as the same as probably if they got all the subjects to choose, but while the other just choose several ones that they are not that familiar with.
Actually, most students in Taiwan choose about 2 to 3 courses for after-school studies, but some students will choose whole courses. Like in Taiwan, we got 10 academic courses, so I have to go to cram school from Sunday to Saturday.
It's a matter of opinion whether the students should actually go to these cram school courses, because from our evaluation, the school teacher's point of view, some of the students just go there due to lack of confidence. They think that because they probably can do better if they go there and brush up on each subject again. So it's actually an exhausting experience for them, since they are at school from 7:20 in the morning till 5, and then they go to cram schools at 6 till 9 or 10. And it's actually, from my point of view, I think it's unhealthy.
So I taught English in Japan, and they have a similar system of cram schools. So out of curiosity, how many can you raise your hand in Taiwan if you attend a cram school?
For at least one subject. So see, it's weird how they all think that they should go to at least one, cram school, or at least the courses for at least one subject.
So I actually had I taught at a similar very high academic school in Japan, and I had one student who did not attend cram school, and he wanted to go to Tokyo University, and he did get in. He was accepted, but he was the only student I knew who did not attend cram school. So I understand it's there's a lot of pressure.
Let me ask in Czech Republic if there's something similar.
Oh yeah, in Czech Republic, is there a similar system of a after-school cram school?
A zajímavé je, že ne nejvíc studentů středních škol na sever navštěvuje grammar schools, ale jsme až na druhém místě v otázce počtu. Tak někdo to mluvte. Teď jsem vám dala ideje. Tak tam skočte, šup, kopa a jede. Prostě my jsme tady. Jo, protože ale že de facto, když je řetíček, jak lidi, kolik lidí navštěvuje, jaký je to střední škol, tak grammar schools jsou až na druhém místě.
Okay, so hello. Most of the people on the universities in Czech Republic are from grammar schools, but the grammar schools are second in the chart of the most popularity. In the chart of the popularity of the school. Did we understand the question right?
Okay, so So the question is actually, so in Taiwan they have special schools after school. So it's to help with test preparation. Are there these after school schools in Czech Republic?
Sorry for not understanding the question right, but they aren't such schools. We got an option to visit teachers alone and learn whatever we want practically.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So I think it's a different system. In the United States, there are students who take extra classes after school, or maybe have a tutor, but it's a different system because you heard the university, you heard Marco and Lauren say the most important thing is the student grades in school, not the tested scores. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah, and our students, for the most part, go to school from 8 to 4 or 7 to 3, and then they go home and they spend time with their family and they do homework. Some families have a tutor for their students on the weekend, but we spend a lot more time with sports and athletics and arts than academics in the evening. So we kind of segment our day in the United States, unlike what they do in Taiwan, where it seems like they work from 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. with their academics. And we have more, like I said, athletic. Most students play 1 or 2 sports, and we also are our students take art and music classes in the evenings.
So also, in the United States, Lauren and Marco said it's important that students they use the term well-rounded. So that means that the students are expected to have good grades in school, good test scores, but also that they do many different activities in their community. And so we have, maybe the students aren't always studying, but there's a lot of pressure for students to do well, to compete for a good college or university. But also some students, it also depends, because some students must have a job after school to help them to pay for things like a car or clothes or food, and so that can be a little bit hard. Mike, do you want to talk about your students and what maybe some of the things they have to do after school? Because it in different parts of the country it varies. So
yeah, we have a tremendous amount of students who actually work. So I often envy Mary and some of my friends in South Korea that had such diligent students. And now I can understand why they stay, because they probably go home earlier here than they would when they go to their after school. But we used to talk to some people in Korea that would stay till midnight every night and then come back the next morning and be at school. So the commitment level there and the pressure is totally amazing. But a lot of our colleges, exactly what you said, they look for other things other than academic, because much of our day is spent in other than academic. I would like to ask a question, if I could. How much does it cost to go to a national college in your country? Because when you ask the question about when it sounds like $25,000 American and stuff, what is the cost, and how much pressure is there, or how hard is it to get into a domestic university in each of your countries? We'll start with Mary first. All right, let's go with the Czech Republic first, then go Mary. Go ahead.
Průměrný roční příjem u nás je na dolary 12 000 $, já už jsem to přepočetla. A to studium Vára tam má ty čísla Váro, tak to tam by například bylo 2700 třeba z jedna z ale je to méně než roční příjem. No?
The average salary per year in our country is about $12,000. And the admission fee at private colleges is about $2,500. $5,000. Yes. Up to $2,500 per an academic year.
Což je vlastně právník než ten which is 5,000 less than annual salary.
And the annual salary.
Yeah, so it's about 1/5 of the average cost for what a worker would make then, correct?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's an excellent point to know. Mary, could you tell us a little bit about the cost in Taiwan, please?
Cost for public university in Taiwan, cost for one semester range from $700 to $1,000
$1,000. That's the public one.
Yeah, that's public.
And the private ones?
The private one range from $1,000 to $2,000.
Okay. Now, Mary, what is the advantage, or why do so many foreign?
Or more.
Yes, or more.
Why do so many foreign students want to come to America when it costs so much more?
So, what are the reasons that you would like to study in the U.S. since it costs so much more?
Well, for some student like me who wish to study in business-related courses, we'll think that especially how the market work in that country, which means that probably in Taiwan, it is more limited than that in the United States, which means that you got a more stable and kind of like you got the structure is better, which means that you could do like stock markets, real estate, all the things are planned better, and also bank. So that's probably the cause. And as for
some science courses, such as engineering, biology, or medicine, since most people knows that the U.S. have better facility for experiments and research, so many people would like to do research in the U.S., so they tend to apply for university in the U.S. Yeah, since experiments and research is a very important part in science and in scientific courses, so that's why students tend to go to U.S.
Okay.
Thank
Czech
you.
Republic. How many students in the Czech Republic would like to come to the United States that you know of with the cost?
Well, from my point of view, as I applied also for American scholarship on private school from assist organization, I don't know if you know it. It's a great option, but I don't know yet if I'm taking it or. But I don't think we are so into market or something like this. So like Taiwan. From my point of view, I admire the American people for being so free and happy all the time.
So I just want to share that we live in Pittsburgh, so it's very cold here right now, and it's there's not a lot of sun, so we're not very happy. But I think probably in Texas they're a lot happier. Texas, Florida, California. If you want to see the happy Americans, you should go there. But we are very nice in Pittsburgh. We're just not very happy when it's cold out.
Yeah. Maybe in Pittsburgh, could you address, and she said you had a daughter and everybody had gone to school, how hard is it for a typical American to finance college educations now?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So most families, it's about 1/3. The cost of college is about 1/3 of a family's average income. So it's in that $35,000 to $45,000 range, and that's a lot of money. So most families that I know finance their students' education by mortgaging their home. So in our case, we have a home, and we took out a second mortgage for our first son that went to school, and then we took out a third mortgage for our daughter when she went to school. So a lot of students are expected to pay for their education for many years. That is, mortgage or get loans, student loans. And some students may pay those student loans for 10 or 20 years when they go into the workforce. So it's not expected that parents can keep up with all those college payments, but rather through student loans and some grants.
Yeah.
So, and I think what we're seeing a lot more of is that universities are competing with each other for the best students in the United States and around the world. And so they're making better dormitories and more activities and making the campus much more beautiful. And therefore the cost is becoming more and more expensive. So it's a little bit difficult. So what we're seeing too is a lot more competition for other types of universities and the structure. So for example, anyone around the world can take a MOOC. So it's a massive online open course. And the best universities in the United States are offering these courses that you take online. And they're free, and anyone can join them. And so that's something that even high school students can do on their own. We're seeing a lot more high schools offer university credits in high school. So they're the AP tests. So these are classes that students take, and then at the end of the year they take a test. and that test can get them some college credit. There are also college in high school classes. So these are classes taught by a high school teacher, but using the curriculum or the information from the college. So so the students can get credit that way. And then some students will go to a community college. So this is a smaller college where they can take some classes for their first 2 years, and then they can change to a different university after that. And the community colleges are very affordable. So more like the cost of school in Czech Republic or Taiwan. So there are, I think in the next 10 years, you're going to see a lot of different types of colleges and universities in the United States for American students. And, you know, I'm curious to see how that affects education around the world. But there, it's, you know, to mention, it's way too expensive. And so for many people, college is not available. And in the United States, if you do not have a college degree, your opportunities are very limited. So very few opportunities.
So most all of our students are urged to go to college. 85 to 95% of our high school students go on to college, at least start college. And we are starting to take a look at that and drive some students toward trade schools and these community colleges. But right now there's a big focus on students continuing their education, getting a college degree, and having that for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and so, and you said 85 to 90% in, but that's just some school districts. So in some school districts, it might be less than 50% of students go to college. In some school districts, less than 50% of students finish high school. So it's really the difference between rich people and poor people in the United States is growing, and that's a problem. We have about 5 minutes left, so if the students have, Tim and I can talk a lot, so we'll stop. So if the students in Taiwan or students in Czech Republic have questions, please ask.
All right, so we don't have any more questions, but I have to say that I'm attending a CTY course online, which prepares me for AP test. So I would like to ask you, even there is the Columbia University isn't here, so I would like to ask you if the AP test are to have an AP test is so advantageous for you.
I think the question was, does the AP test give students an advantage? And I think there are two ways to think of that. So does the AP test give students an advantage to get into university? And then does the AP test give an advantage once the students are at a university? And I think it really depends. So I think that schools, Marco mentioned that grades are really important when they're looking at admissions for students. So AP, if students who are taking a lot of AP courses, people think they're more competitive for university. But if you have the AP, if you take the AP test and you can get college credit, then that means that you have, you don't have to pay as much for college because you have more college credits. So that can be an advantage once you're in university too. So I don't know, Mike, if you have a different perspective on that, or.
I was going to say one thing we might consider, if you're going to school 220 days a year compared to our 173 or 175, and you're doing extra school too, that has to weigh in somewhere because they just have more time on task than the average American student. I was wondering how that works when you go compete internationally when you apply to American schools.
Did you want to ask, I mean, how do you want us to measure this? Is there an advantage of us going to school.
That's why I wanted to ask. Did you think it would be an advantage or not? We're going to have to go in just a minute.
Yeah. Okay. So do you like going to school like 200? Approximately 220 days a year. Yeah, and that's a lot more than in comparison with U.S.
But actually, if speaking about advantage, but I think. Yes, but I think we got some difference between our school, senior high school in Taiwan and in the U.S. Since students need to learn all kinds of subjects in senior high school, from science, Mandarin, English, math to social studies. Students have to know all of the courses to go to have their exam. So I don't think this is a big advantage, since students cannot really choose what do they want to learn. Yes, we have in their second grade they will be separated into two parts. One is a scientific group and one is a social study group. But we still need to study some. For example, I'm the one in scientific group, but I still have to study social studies for my exam. So I don't think that's the big advantage, since we still have to learn a lot of things, but most of them are not that useful in our future.
And students especially focuses on the textbook, which means that there isn't many practical experiments, especially for scientific groups or any other research that students could perform with during high school.
Yes, only those who will go to have contests will do experiment, but not that much. Thank you.
Did you get that?
Yeah, and
probably because most of the courses are test oriented.
Yes.
And I think that's again in the United States, that's a challenge that we're facing, because there are more state tests